You good morning, good evening, what depending on what part of the world you're listening in from, and welcome to Hard Facts for today. It's the pre-weekend edition. Some people say that's something that we like to tell ourselves to make the weekend come a little bit faster. I don't know, but it's the pre-weekend anyway. So today is Thursday, and it's the 26th of February. And to think that in 2 days we'll be done with the month of February. Gabriel, is it me or did this month just fly past?
It depends on where you are. It depends on how you're looking at it. It depends on the position you are at. For some people, it was a very long month, even though it had just 28 days, or it has just 28 days. For some other persons, we flew past very fast.
Which one was it for you?
I don't know, my sister.
It was in between.
I might tell you,
some days were fast, some days were slow.
I'm telling you, the slow ones are extremely slow.
Oh.
Jesus be issued. But I mean, the beautiful thing is that regardless of whatever the days bring, as individuals, as human beings, we keep pushing on, we keep fighting, we keep showing up. That's the most important thing, They say that you are afraid, but you do it afraid regardless. You are tired, you move while you're tired regardless. So that's the beautiful thing about being an adult or being a human being. We just have to keep fighting. So to all those who are pushing despite whatever it is, I always like to say, Somi, that I feel the most for people who they owe salaries. I feel the most for people who they owe salaries. If they are being owed salaries, it's just the second month in the year 2026 and you are being owed. This is for you. Hang in there. Because what?
I can't imagine it.
I cannot imagine it.
I cannot imagine it.
I cannot imagine. This is the wrongest time for anybody to be owed. But that's the reality of many people. Many people are being owed since 2025. I'm not even talking about, government workers, even though that is a sad reality. In many private organizations, that's the reality as well. And I genuinely think that it is the hallmark of irresponsibility on the part of the leadership of the organization. If a company owes, it's not because the company doesn't have money. It's because the company's leadership is irresponsible. It's as simple as that.
Their priorities are elsewhere.
Their priorities are it's not part of irresponsibility. No one is saying that a company cannot go broke, but there are ways to go about it. For example, if you're going to owe people salary, instead of demanding them to show up in the office for 5 days, ask them to come for 3 days. Ask them to show up for 3 days. So tell them that, okay, let's look at how we can automate our activities. If you're going to show up for 5 days, it means that how do you tie what they do to productivity and to income? It means you are not doing your job somewhere. If they have to show up for 5 days, there's got to be end product for that 5 days that are coming, and then you pay them. So if it is not working like that, it's irresponsibility at some point in time or the other. So, shout out to everybody who is grinding regardless. You're grinding, you're pushing, you're doing stuff, doing multiple jobs, doing businesses on the side. Shout out to everybody, man. We are tenacious people. That's the real Ninja spirit there. We're fighters, we're survivors, and that's what it is. You don't accept me on this path this afternoon.
And then you not set me on another path altogether, but I'm not going to go down that path.
Let's not go. Let's go to the big reviews.
I just remember the days when I was having to make a way where there was no way. And I knew that I could not do it.
When did you become God?
No, so exactly, right? Because sometimes it gets the way the thing will hook you. You'll be like, see.
My sister.
It's a mistake that some of us do, but sometimes I'm like, God, I better don't wait first. Let's say you own it. Say, wait, I face front. But of course, we're grateful to be here anyways. Thanks for coming to our TED Talk.
I'm telling you,
we didn't plan to go there.
Unsolicited, we know.
We didn't.
We know, but it's fine. We are concerned.
Just a word of encouragement.
Concerned Nigerians.
Okay. All right, let's get into the big three this afternoon then. We'll take on 2 stories, open up the phone lines, and then take the third one to allow for you all to get the opportunity to weigh in on the conversation as much as possible. We're trying to make sure that you're having more talk time, okay? So let's get started. We're having something that, the thing I was talking about, setting a dangerous precedence. Precedence is very, very important. There are certain policies, there are certain directions you go as a leadership of a country that will then open up the doors for, in some cases, you say, okay, you set a trend, we follow this pattern, and in some instances, it might open some unsavory doors for you. But let's see how the president will take this one. I remember the story about the Executive Order 09, the one that reduced the earnings of NNPC. Well, a social political group in the South called the Niger Delta Civil Society Forum has written an open letter to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu raising constitutional concerns over what it described as illegal and unconstitutional implementation of the 13% derivation fund in Nigeria. And they are now asking that the president should issue an executive order on the 13% derivation fund, So, I mean, after all, you're putting out executive orders. Why not add this one to the list? So, in this open letter signed by their coordinator, Ezekiel Kagbala, copies of which were made available to journalists today, the forum warned that the prevailing practice on the 13% derivative undermines the supremacy of the 1999 Constitution as amended and continues to shortchange oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta, while noting that it was compelled to speak out in the spirit of patriotism, constitutionalism, and justice. The forum maintained that oil and gas matters are expressly listed under Item 39 of the Executive Legislative List in Part 1 of the second schedule to the Constitution, which covers mines, minerals, oil fields, oil mining, geological surveys, and natural gas. And now they are appealing. It's quite an interesting word to say they are appealing, because quoting them verbatim, they said, without further delay, issue an executive order to correct the alleged anomalies by ensuring lawful administration of the 13% derivation fund. This, they said, should include the establishment of the 13% derivation fund board in each oil and gas producing state and the constitution of a presidential monitoring committee to guarantee transparency, accountability, and strict constitutional compliance. They're calling this appeal, which I would say is pretty much a demand, not a political one. They say that their appeal is constitutional. It is not adversarial, they said. It is corrective. And they reiterated that continued unconstitutional handling of a derivation fund undermines the rule of law and deprives host communities of the justice that the Constitution guaranteed them. I'll just say one final thing about it, and then, just let you get in on it. By the doctrine of the separation of powers, they said, only the federal government, acting through the president, has jurisdiction over matters on the exclusive legislative list. They said state governors, state assemblies, all lack constitutional authority to legislate on, administer, or appropriate funds derived from oil and gas resources. And they're seeking correction in all of these things. So they're asking for the president to, without delay, put out an executive order to correct what they have said is the unconstitutional application or use of the 13% derivation fund. Hey God, it's my English. Okay, so yes, that is it. I would let us all debate on the merits or the lack of merits, if you feel like there are lack of merits to this argument. Are there any merits really to this request that this group is making? And do you think that this is coming as a result of the precedence that was set? Are they taking advantage of the president's ability to issue executive orders and implement very swiftly? I will get your thoughts on that. We've got about a minute before the break. I don't know if you want to add something to this story.
Let's go for the break. Let's go for the break, and then when we come back, we'll look at like you said, you use the word precedence, right?
Yes.
And it's very important that we are very careful with the things that are demanded for, because now the Niger Delta is a very sensitive region of the country. We note the works that former presidents did to ensure that the, in quotes, let me use air quotes now, stability that we have in the South region especially under the presidency of President Goodluck Jonathan, to reach certain compromises with the region and, quiet down the spate of vandalization of oil wells, pipelines, and all of it. But when certain requests are made, where are they made from? What is the position fueling this request? Is it a thing of, okay, we see what is going on in the country. We see that other regions are doing this, and this. Let us do our own too. What exactly is fueling? Because now it puts the president in a very bad position. Let's go for the break.
At High Salat, we
They say, go with the flow. But what if the flow is wrong? They say, that's just how things are. But what if it doesn't have to be? Starting Monday, March 2nd, 2026, it's time to challenge the narrative. Perspectives are flipped and no idea is above questioning. Everyday issues, politics, culture. If it's trending, we are debating it. Come with your facts. Come with your fire. Just don't come with weak arguments. Because on this, we dare to say, I beg to differ. Exclusive to 95.1 Nigeria Info.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
All right, Hard Facts here with Somi, that's myself, and Gabriel Spector.
Yeah, so we're looking at this issue of a certain group writing to the president and seeking an executive order on a 13% derivation fund. That is the Niger Delta Civil Society order. So, I mean, apparently this is going to be
if they allow it that way. I mean, so far we've had what, two?
Yeah,
Two
so far.
Yeah.
So the thing is this. I think that the Niger Delta region, the South region, and I think they should extend to every other part of the country. They've got to look inwards and be genuinely honest with themselves. I do not think that the president should grant this executive order. My personal opinion here, and anybody can, contradict it and tell me otherwise. But that is fine. But I don't think that is what is needed, because now we're not even looking at whether it is being paid. But they are saying, do not send it to state governors or to the state governments. Send it to host communities, and you look at that. How does that, how do I say this now? How does that solve the problem? Because now we're looking at, one of the issues they are saying is the issue of corruption. They are alleging that state governors of, respective host communities, have mismanaged most of these funds and all of that. Now, if a state governor is mismanaging fund, is it a village head that cannot mismanage fund? Or is it a local government chairman that cannot mismanage fund? So the issue is not, I do not think that the issue is about where the money is being paid. I think the issue is about accountability, transparency, reliability, dependency. This is what the issue is about. And I dare say, again, nobody has the monopoly of irresponsibility. It does not matter if the person is a state governor or a local government chairman or a village head or what have you. I genuinely think that it is a conversation that they need to have with their state governors. Because now when you begin to look at some of these things, you look at some of the issues, for example, right? Now, it would definitely set the precedent against the governors. That's what's going to happen. I mean, because I don't even see the president signing this kind of executive order. I have to be very honest with you. I don't, because the man is preparing for election, and then you're asking him to, sign that kind of executive order. I don't think that it is one that we need right now.
But is there a valid moral argument here? One, and then two, is it something that is the way it's currently being deployed? Is it something that goes against the Constitution? Because those are the claims that they are putting forward.
When you say it goes against the Constitution, what do you mean?
Those are the claims that they are making. Yes, they're saying that the executive legislative list is under the president's authority, and this dictates how revenues from resources such as these are managed. So the government owns the resources, so the president should use the executive order to create a board or a presidential monitoring committee that will bypass state governors and ensure funds reach host communities directly. They are quoting this the executive legislative list as their basis for this argument.
Another presidential board.
Well, I mean, that's what they're asking for.
Another presidential
That's what they're
board.
asking for.
Okay.
And then, there are opponents who are actually quoting the Constitution as well, but they are maintaining that their request is constitutional. So I guess that's where the question, the burden will now lie to be able to prove, is this a constitutionally valid request?
The Constitution, did it say that the fund goes directly to these host communities, or was it explicit? So
let's look at the counter argument.
Right.
The people who are opposing this, including some legal scholars, are saying if you use section 162.2 of the 1999 Constitution, I think this also came up in our conversation with Barrister Fajano. He says it mandates that the principle of derivation shall be reflected in the revenue formula as not less than 13%, and the Supreme Court has historically interpreted state of derivation to mean the state government, not specific communities. And changing this will require a constitutional amendment, not just a presidential order. So the people who are arguing against what the people who are asking for this are saying, that it is in the Constitution, section 162.2 allows for this to happen. And the Supreme Court has stated that state of derivation, as it states, is the state government, which these people are now trying to bypass to say, no, it is not state government, and they're using the executive legislative list, item 39, to defend their argument.
Many people would make demands of the president. I think it is left for the president and his advisors to look at the several demands. I mean, like when I started at my opening on my reaction to this issue, the Niger Delta region is a very sensitive part of the country, and they are aware. They know the kind of power they have, because up until now, we've not been able to successfully diversify the economy in such a way that we can have multiple cash cows. Our biggest cash cow, if only, is still the oil sector. And so the president has got to be very careful in how he handles this issue. But I do not think that this request is in order. I think it's out of place, if you ask me.
You think that they're just taking advantage of what we are seeing in terms of executive orders being issued? But why do you want to take away? I mean, there is a valid argument in the fact that these funds have been mismanaged.
I agree with you.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Yes.
And this is not even in any attempt to exonerate different governors. I mean, look at more than 70% of past governors in the South region have either they currently have, or they've had at least one pending case with either the EFCC or the ICPC. And that says a lot. I mean, well, it's not just unique to them. It's all over the country, all 36 states. But the point of the matter, this is not an attempt to exonerate state governors, especially in the Niger Delta region, right? They're not saints. But the point here is this, that we cannot continue to, just because you want to solve one problem, you then solve multiple cascading problems.
Create, you mean?
Create, rather. Thank you so much. Create multiple problems.
What do you think the problem of this will be, other than the fact that the president is gearing up for an election and he does not want to offend his political allies?
Now, this is not even about particularly offense. It's a case that has gotten to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court was able to rule that this rests on state government. So, again, they have every right to make demands. They are the Niger Delta region, and they know the kind of power they have. So, recently I saw a video. One guy was it was about around a creek, and this was recent. I think it was on Twitter. I saw the video, and he was complaining. He was calling on the president. I was saying that you asked us not to do illegal bunkering. In fact, you used us to set up security under I think it's Stompolo firm that got that contract as security for oil wells and all of that, stop illegal bunkering. But he was complaining that certain foreign barges are seen on their waters in their communities doing illegal bunkering. And then he was making that kind of complaint. So we have these issues prevailing currently in the South region. But the point of the matter is this. I genuinely think that before we create multiple problems by the gaps in our constitution, which is going to be much more harder to solve than right now, if a governor is mismanaging funds.
I hear you. I'm trying to understand what perceived problem. Is it by asking him to create an executive or issue an executive order? Is that where the problem will be? Or where exactly is this envisaged problem that you have?
Politically, it would hurt the president.
We've established that, but,
Exactly.
but that shouldn't even take precedent, because the pains and the cries of the people is something that should be a priority. In reality, is there mismanagement? Yes. Some data has it that some of these state governors use these monies, these derivation funds, to service their local debts. And then you're also looking at the environmental toll that is taken on this community. So if it is the political argument, as much as we acknowledge that it can affect him, I don't think that should be his priority now over the lives and the concerns of these people. So if it is in the political, yes, granted, but what other problem do you envisage?
So let me, for example, let's look at something here.
Okay.
So when you talk about an executive order, right, being an administrative tool, right, that the presidency can use, we're speaking about this issue with Barrister Fajono the other time. It has got, what is the position of the Constitution
on executive orders?
A matter like this. What is the position of the Constitution?
So that is a perceived problem.
So no. I'm just citing. As a matter of fact, I think it's a little more than this. But
okay.
I mean, I'm just trying to cast a mind on the fact that we complained about Executive Order 9 that it is overreaching on the part of the presidency to effect. I don't know why you're smiling to me. To effect an executive order, right, that overrides the Constitution. So what is the Constitution saying about this issue? Does it say, because I've read the provisions in the Constitution and the respective act, and there's nothing that says that it has to be given to host communities.
Okay. I hear you. And just so that we can move on to the next story, let's allow the listeners to be able to jump in on that and provide their takes on it.
This is not saying that state governors who are irresponsible,
you've made that point,
who mismanage funds,
you've made that
should
point,
be allowed off the hook.
You've made that point.
But do we also want to see a country where the presidency consistently flouts the rule of law?
Okay, so that is the perceived problem. the issuance of the executive order could present a perceived problem.
Definitely.
I wanted you to get there. That's why I was smiling.
Okay.
Because, again, I started this conversation by saying this could also bring up the conversation around setting a precedent and what it can do.
All right.
So a precedent has been set, whether we like it or not, and then we'll look at everything else that comes from there. Let's go on to the next story. I think even yesterday, Gabriel, you and I were having a conversation around this one, looking at the whole change in the IGP situation and all of that. And there has been some speculation. There is also what typically happens in the online space where conversations around some kind of is the word conspiracy, some kind of is it bigotry? What is the word?
Tribalism,
nepotism.
Yes.
That's the word, nepotism. And we've been discussing it off air, and we've been trying to get to the heart of the matter. We do have a report here from Premium Times that seems to have the real reasons why Egbetokun was told to resign. Perhaps we can look into them, just in case you're one of the people who's been having conversations, off radio to say, there was a little something about it. I remember when the news first broke, there was this talk of, he was asked to resign versus he was forced to resign. Even though the first headline that I read said he resigned at the behest of the president, which for me is self-explanatory. But a lot has been happening in online space. And what was that thing that you said yesterday?
No. A lot of persons, they've made it a tribal war. I think all of yesterday, the online space went agog with conversation of Frank Kumba, who is a Deputy Inspector General of Police, should have been made the Inspector General of the Nigerian Police Force, whereas the new has it been made? Has it been confirmed?
Yeah, I think all that is
okay.
Is done and done.
All right. Well, the new IG of Police, Tunji Desu, who was an AIG, Assistant Inspector General of Police, was then made an Inspector General of Police. I know a lot of conversation were going on as regards. Somebody actually even brought. He said EFCC boss is a Yoruba man. This one Yoruba man. This one Yoruba man. And now the Nigerian Police Force Yoruba man. And I said, I'm of the opinion that first and foremost, the reasons why Mr. Egbetokun was asked to resign, whether he was resigned, he was sacked, that is is subject to personal interpretation, right? Whatever the issues are, it's an appointive office. But the point is I wish to God that would not, at every single given opportunity, descend into tribal war or begin to cook up what I would call intentional attempts to stir up tribal waters in the country. I think it's very dangerous. I know the sad part for me was the fact that there are quite a number of persons I respect in the online space who are pushing this narrative.
Well, first and foremost, let's establish that, and when we say online space, it's also important to clarify that there is the online space and then there's X, aka Twitter. And a lot of these conversations go on in that space, and sometimes you have to physically and mentally remove yourself from that space because you will see all sorts of mind perceptions coming into play in the discussions that we're having. So let's first of all establish that's a very, very cantankerous place. It can be a very cantankerous place. It can be a place, and there's this thing about being online where this whole faceless thing gives people like a little extra added temerity to shalaye. But having established that, this argument that you are talking about, about whether they made it tribal, became tribalistic and all of that, is also in some kind of way. I feel bad about saying this, but I feel like somehow it's embedded in our subconscious. So the conversation towards moving us to a Nigeria where we don't descend into these places it has to happen, has to continue, has to be sustained, and we'll do the best that we can to do that here. But also, there is a place for certain kinds of communication on the part of the government that helps to prevent all of this from happening. Again, when I say it will prevent all of this from happening.
Press statement?
Something like that. Now, when I say prevent all of this from happening, because Egbetokun, getting to the IGP was something that It was welcomed, it was celebrated. He brought a lot to the table.
Yeah.
Now, there is also the fact that there was a swift amendment that was done prior to when he was when he was supposed to be retired from office.
Right.
That generated its controversy on its own. And so we are putting all of that, on the table to say these are the elements at play, while still putting the red flag on that online space, because God help us all. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what's very interesting. Let me tell you what's very interesting.
Talk to me.
Confirm to me first and foremost.
Yeah.
All of these conversations happened on X. Yes.
Yes, they did.
That's one. Two. You again, like I said, you need to be able to have a certain mental fortitude to be able to go into that space. We're going to have a guest who's going to come on by 5 o'clock today. Kalu Aja is joining us to look at Nigeria's budget and budget implementation. He's someone who is very, very outspoken on Twitter. At a point, you're having certain conversations and you're just laughing because you are now having to tell people to differentiate between economic Twitter and literature Twitter, because everybody is coming because they just feel like they know. But, so it's all very testy.
But I agree with you absolutely, and in some sense, it is the unofficial boardroom where matters are resolved. Now, I'll tell you for a fact, the president has an official Twitter account. INEC has an official Twitter account. The Nigerian federal government has an official Twitter account. The Senate president has a Twitter account. The vice president has Twitter accounts, all active. I'm not saying that the ones that do the posting, they have maybe handlers that help them manage, right? And why do they need to be on that space? Because they know that Nigerians are there. It is not like other social apps like Instagram, like TikTok, like Facebook. Here, real conversations are had. Now, it would be very terrible of a journalist or a broadcaster to take facts from there and present them as fact. And that's what we're doing here.
To take conversations from there and present them as fact.
No. The difference is...
Not everything put out there is fact, even by the very savvy, knowledgeable ones.
The difference is that, conversations being had there, there's track record to show that conversations being had there have their way of forming itself in real life. Let me give an example. I think it is Mr. P of P Square. A certain lady came out and called him a rapist, said that he was sexually harassing his maid and all of that. He was on X. Guess what? Would you believe that several weeks, if not months, people that know this story, several weeks or even months after, he actually went as far, I think it was Ghana, if I'm not mistaken. This lady who is married left Nigeria, went all the way to Ghana, and I think she was hiding there. He was able to get her arrested. A matter that started as a bant, as cruise and vibes on X, got to the police station in real life. So I'm
aware of that.
So my point exactly is this. Conversations are had there by Nigerians, which even CP Benjamin Hundeyin, he has an official Twitter account. Frank Umba has an official Twitter account.
Yes, and I hear you, but again, which is why I said there is a place for the government to be able to take up communications properly in such a way that we don't have some of these diverse and in some instances very, very radically offensive opinions now becoming the fact that is being put out there. On all of those official handles, I'm with you, my brother. On all of those official handles, if, for example, a statement had been put out about an IGP Ekpetugu, perhaps we will not have to come to explain from what the Premium Times is now giving us the real reason why he was told to resign. So let's get to that now.
I mean, let's get to that. But before you do, the point is you're absolutely correct that if the government, which is a personal plea I always make to every government, be proactive in communication. I do not understand why we have a government that shies away. I think it's a case of the government already knows that people do not like it and they are aware. And it seems like they've accepted it. Because why do you allow speculations to linger and fester and develop into full-blown issues? Many of the protests that we have seen today started online. The NSAS movement started online on the same platform. So we have track record to believe that conversations that go on there, if they're not nipped in the bud, they can, cascade into something much more dangerous. This particular issue is one that needs to be talked about. I do not know about I don't speak for the government. I don't speak for the president. I don't know anything about nepotistic appointment or what have you. But on this particular case, singling out this particular issue of Egbetokun and Frank Umba, I think is a very, very sad one, and it's a clear case of propaganda. And I wonder, why are we stirring up tribal hate? Yoruba versus Igbo. Why do we keep doing that?
All right.
Let's get into the details.
Let's get to the reasons. Now, all of this coming from Premium Times, who had some sources, of course, which they did not name, giving the real reasons Egbetokun was told to resign. Now, we know that the presidency said Mr. Egbetokun cited family reasons for his decision to resign. Sources with direct knowledge of what truly happened said he was asked to resign by the president. Again, we've reported that that's how he was presented in some of the dailies. But apparently, contrary to the official narrative, that ex-police chief Kaide Egbetokun resigned for family reasons. Sources that spoke to Premium Times within the presidency said that he asked him to resign for three main reasons. One of them being that, oh dear, where are we? Okay, one of them being that they had different opinions. When I say they, I mean the president now, and Egbetokun had different opinions on the position of state policing. The source that spoke to Premium Times said that Egbetokun has not been in support of the state policing, and that stance made him conflict with the government stance. And there's another source that spoke to the Daily stating that Egbetokun did not believe in the signatory policy of state police. Now, we know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has repeatedly advocated for the creation of state police, and spoke about his national dialogue on state policing in April of 2024, and even very recently also he spoke about that as well. So according to this source who spoke to Premium Times, it is the submission of leadership of Nigerian police force that Nigeria is yet. Sorry, this is Egbetokun speaking now. This was something that he said earlier on, as put out by the former his former spokesperson, if you will, Ben Okolo. He had said it is the submission of the leadership of the Nigerian police force that Nigeria is yet to mature, and Nigeria is not yet ready for the establishment of state-controlled police. He said there is potential for abuse of power by the state political leadership, and he said that state governors would use these forces under their control for political and personal gain and undermine human rights and security. Now, this has also been some of the opinions expressed by even ordinary Nigerians on the street who are waiting on this topic to say, this is why I'm not in support of state policing. But to hear the source say now that this was given as a reason, because you cannot have the chief of police, if you will, conflicting in his position, with that of the presidency, they're citing this as one of the reasons. Now, again, like I said, the president spoke about it even very recently, talking about hours before Egbetokun was removed from office. The president told governors and senior officials during an interfaith breaking of fast at the presidential banquet hall in Abuja that his administration will create state police. The president said, and I quote, "What I promise you is not to be postponed. We will establish state police to combat insecurity." So if we're going by what the source is saying, the president is positioning for that to become a reality, and he had to align in terms of his chief of police for that to happen. So that's one of the reasons that was given. Also, another reason that was supposedly given by the source says his removal was also because of Egbetokun's compliance with the order that the president gave to withdraw police officers from VIP. According to this source, he stated that his rate of withdrawing the police officers from VIP was very slow. And then the third reason that was given, according to the source, that the government felt embarrassed by the IPI's blacklisting of the IG of police, which he was at the time, by the International Press Institute. We spoke about that very briefly.
Yeah.
The International Press Institute had put him as like the number one on their blacklist. And this was rather strange because you had the head of the DSS ranking very highly in terms of, freedom of press and all of that. Egbetokun apparently has had a number of harassments and arrests of journalists under his watch that he did not come to speak on. He was silent on them, and the source quoted that this was a case, the listing brought about embarrassment to the presidency. Let's let you stew on that for a little bit. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, the conversation will continue.
With information comes power.
We give you more power with information. 95.1
Nigeria Info.
Let's talk. More talk, news, and sports after this.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
All right, we are back. It's still Hard Facts on your number one talk station, 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's see. We've shared 2 stories with you. Let's take some quick reactions, go for the news, come back, take the final story, and then the phone lines will open up once again. Gabriel, you want to go through the messages?
Yes. We have quite a number of messages here. There we go again. It's quite
Okay.
a laggy system.
Okay, let's take the phone calls then. Hello?
Hello.
Welcome.
Good evening. Mr. Gabriel, good evening, sir.
Welcome, sir.
What do you call it? I work around sound secretary. I'm not too close from the agency, just about to pick up for the masses. All these allegations they are laying on Omoteku, is it closed door allegations?
Did you say I'm...
Issues, he now decided to resign. Oh, but now they are bringing allegation on him. You understand? I think they should make it open to the public. You understand that we know. And look at the person that's supposed to be the IG of police. You understand? You have to retire some people to make the person you like an IG. And after NCT election, you understand? Is it that they did not perform very well or what? Understand? For the executive order, this is what the public say they want. And this is what is on the table of the governor, you understand? To me, either election or not election, you go for the public. You understand? By questioning the governor, this is what your people say they want. They are putting allegations on you. They are not seeing this money. Corruption, embezzlement, and the rest of them. Is it true? You understand? You try to balance the issue. That's my take. Thank you. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you, Donatus. Thank you. Hello?
Madam Somi,
Good afternoon, sir.
Oga Gabriel.
Welcome, sir.
What you will believe? Can be all
We greet you,
But you
too,
will
sir.
live long.
And you too, sir.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I greet you, Donatus from Niger. I greet Abubakar, my very good Oga from Gogonada, Abubakar. Well, because I'm not from Soso region, and I'm not supporting their political party, and I don't belong to the particular geopolitical zone, does that mean I cannot become a leader of this great country? Small time they will say you can't be the president if you are not from Soso place. If you are not from Soso place, you can't become governor, you can't become IG. It's not done. You need to throw above all these things. Nigeria, I don't know when I will. And small time, somebody will be shouting one Nigeria. Where is one here now? You serve the country, you do everything, you go through here and there and make sure you submit yourself to them and do all the necessary things. When it is time for them to appoint you, you merit it 100%. They will put you on side because if they give you the position, they can't make use of them and they are just say appoint them. It's not done that way. I'm paying because the person is supposed to give the IG, they refuse to give it to him. Which type of country is this? Our leader, in fact, I'm not happy with that. Honestly, Tinubu is supposed to reverse this thing from people. I'll give it to the Mbadi. Let those people come to the power. Let them. They are the only person I believe they can fix this country.
All right, Elder. We have to go for the news at 4.
And Toby to become president. Yes. Let.
All right, welcome back. 95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's get back to the phone line. 0700 951 0000, 0809 597 4869, WhatsApp is 0809-993-0137. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Adiola Victor from Busalagi.
Welcome.
After the Civil War in 1970, we continue to preach for peace, for unity.
Mm.
And one of the reasons why that will happen is due to marginalization. But it seems some of our leaders still believe in marginalization. You see a situation whereby you marginalize some section, you shortchange them. People who are supposed to take up appointments because they are not from the side you like, not the best. And we cannot move forward as a nation like this. This is why you see agitation. You see people not happy with the system because of all these things. You see, Buhari started this bad president of a favoristic and tribalistic appointment. This government is also doing the same thing. It's not the best. Now look at this fine gentleman that's supposed to recommend. Fine gentleman, good light man. But all this way, you see, it's very sad. We cannot continue like this. People will not be happy. Now, people from the soul now will not be happy. That's the truth. Another people don't. And you see, what this government is doing, you see, it will not continue. It's not a matter of time. When this government is out of power and another government takes over, if it happens to them, they should not complain. Because what you sow, you shall reap. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Adola Victor. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Gabriel.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, how are you? Somi, how are you?
She's just coming in. Welcome. Go on, sir. What's your name?
Oh, okay, my name is Chigo.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Chico.
Yeah, thank you. You know, just like what the last caller said, it's not good. Understand? We know that this man flank him back. Understand? Is the one that is supposed to get this position. But what happened? You think other people from the other side will be happy? You think they'll be happy? This is it. It's not too good. And we say we are one. We are one. And Igbo man supposed to be there and do what? Because of that, you remove him, you retired him, and you put your own. This is not good, or this is not good. The way we are dealing in this country is not good. And now, again, you are still going to vote this government inside again.
No, but Chigo, the question is, was he actually the one that was supposed to be there? I think somebody was explaining it. No. Hold on. Somebody was explaining it, that it is a function of number of years in service, not necessarily a matter of rank that determines who gets to succeed as IG of police. So just again, which is why we had to then come out and discuss what is being put out as the reasons, and this is according to a source within the presidency. So there was all of that happening on the online space, and we're trying to figure out the real reasons, which is why we came up with this. But thank you for calling. Thank you for calling.
I think
unless we can dispute these reasons that we're given, and I think Donatus was saying that these are allegations. Not necessarily. I mean, these are things that Egbetukun was known to have said. Well, at least as far as the state policing conversation, and as far as the IPI ranking, these are the things that were, out there in the public domain. They're not necessarily allegations. Perhaps the one that may be investigated to determine whether it was, first of all, a reason, something that happened, and second, whether it was even a valid enough reason for him to have been removed based on that, was, according to the source, what he said was a slow response to the order of the president to withdraw VIPs.
Another thing that we need to pay attention to, another thing we need to pay attention to is the fact that, first and foremost, have there been nepotistic appointments from the past administration under President Muhammadu Buhari? Yes. We have quite a number of key cabinet members from the southern part of the country, particularly the southwest, where the president hails from too. But on this specific case, I think it's important that people understand how the force, all of the forces, the military, Navy, Air Force, Nigerian Police Force, how they function. Now, when Frank Umba was made, when it was CP, I think within a space of 2 to 3 months, he became AIG and then DIG. A fantastic police officer, highly respected, highly decorated, right? Someone I personally love also, friend of the media. He has served even here in Abuja as well. But the point of the matter is this. You do not, if as a Tinju Diso has been made, who was an AIG before he was made Inspector General of Police, or acting in this capacity as it is right now, you cannot have someone who has been your junior now become the senior. It doesn't work that way in the force. What do I mean? So when Frank Umba was made DIG, why? Because of federal character principle, if I can call it that. Now, you more likely find police officers or force persons. Remember, there was a complaint from the southeastern region that we do not have a lot of southeasterners who are applying into the force. So you have more from the southwest, north central in the police force. You also don't find a lot of core northerners in the police force. So in the bid to balance it out at the top, you often have a southeasterner, like the most effective, if I can call it that, or the most vibrant from the southeast, rise up the ranks very fast, which is one of the reasons why Frank Umba was able to rise in a space of 2-3 months from CP to DIG. Now, when he was DIG, Tunji Disu was AIG. DIG is higher in rank than AIG. So Tunji Disu was his junior. Now that he has been made acting Inspector General, and I should also mention, if I'm not mistaken, I think it is only Solomon Arase who was DIG before he was made IG. It is usually AIG to IG, most of them, including Egbetokun. It was an assistant Inspector General that was now made an AIG. So the way it works is that an IG, then DIGs, I think about 7 or 8 of them under the IG. So that allows rising of other police officers as, assistant commissioner of police to commissioner of police. It allows that, flow like that to continue. Because when an IG goes, the DIGs follow him, they retire. Then the person that was made the IG, you now have AIGs rise to the rank of, everybody cannot be IG. So the point of the matter is this, that we also need to understand how these things work. Again, I think it's only Solomon Arase that was the DIG made IG. Now, are we saying that it could have been another person? Most likely, yes. But I do think that even the Frank Umba, I strongly believe that he knows he has had a beautiful career in the police force. He's highly respected, highly decorated. I think the best days of his life are just starting. But let us not stir up what is not there. Let us not stir up what we need to be very, very, there's that ability to look at issues objectively and say things the way they are is very, very crucial.
All right. Have you touched on the final story?
No, we haven't yet.
Okay, let's just quickly look at that and then go back to the phone lines. You're having the president come out to have to defend himself against allegations that his administration is orchestrating the collapse of opposition parties. He had to come out to declare that he neither coerced politicians into defecting nor used state power to silence dissent. He made this statement at the Interfaith Iftar with senators at the presidential villa in Abuja, where the president addressed growing criticism that the APC is benefiting from pressure allegedly mounted on opposition figures to switch allegiance. He said, critics must talk. When they accused me of killing the opposition, but I did not have a gun, I could have given myself a license when I have the authority. Now, again, this is coming amidst wave of defections from opposition parties to the APC and developments that have fueled claims that critics that the political space is being tilted in favor of the ruling party. He's rejected all these claims, saying that he cannot blame anybody for jumping out of a sinking ship if they did. And he said, suggesting that internal crisis within opposition parties may be responsible for the movement of members. Just wanted to put that out there. Let's go back to the phone line.
On this issue, Somi, Mr. President, sir, yes, you didn't have a gun. I mean, you're speaking metaphorically. You did not shoot an opposition party. But, yes, Mr. President, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, Uncle Daddy, sir.
I'm sorry. But why is it that politicians who are in the APC, who had cases, corruption cases before, are no longer chased by the EFCC? Why?
No longer.
No.
Cite one. I'm just saying.
It's flying over my head right now. I can't think of one. I'll give you names.
Okay.
I'll dig up names for you.
So basically, the question you're asking him is that tilting towards the fact that, sir, there seems to be some kind of immunity over some of these APC
politicians are not dumb people. They are, in fact, I dare say that politicians are one of the most intelligent persons. To be able to outwit people is not a small feat. When politicians move in a political party system like Nigeria, where it is free for all, anything goes, when they move from one political party to the other, it's clearly in their interest. So what is it about the APC?
But he's saying he's not coercing them.
What is it about the APC that is inviting all the politicians?
He's saying he's not coercing them.
No.
They are moving of their own volition because they're in sinking ships, and so they need to move so that they can stay afloat.
Somi, it is. I dare say. I mean, and opposition parties are not also helping matters, right? In that they are having their infighting and all of that. But it is not normal that every politician in a country, not every, that is a strong word to use, right? But the wave of mass defection, what is pulling people? If they say that it is because the APC is a strong political party, it's all right, fine and good. We hear. But the point of the matter is that we have underlying problems, underlying issues. There are certain persons who are no longer in the thick of EFCC prosecution just because they are in the APC.
Okay, I hear you. Just in case you wanted to remember a name, there is a certain Yahaya Bello that was said to be at the presidential villa for one of these, well, I can't remember, it was Iftar, very recently, and there were concerns. Wasn't he being prosecuted by the EFCC? But like I said, let's get back to the phone lines. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome, sir.
My name remains Comrade Salis on the line.
All right, sir.
Yeah, for my take, this police issue, when I get to Kuko, me, I'm in Nigeria, a good Nigeria. I want things to go around the country. So, you see, most president of this country, Bola Medrugu, is doing the wrong thing. He's not the right thing. You know that the Yoruba man has gone from there. You know, carry Igbo. You know, carry Hausa to the place. You still carry Yoruba man.
No, but is this not the conversation that we're saying was being had in the Twitter space that we came to clear up? Has he done anything wrong? Has he violated the tenets of promoting police officers? Has he done that? Can we establish that he's done that? Or are we asking for what we are now seeing in our political space where they say is zoning? Is this zoning you are asking for to see in the promotion of police officers to the rank of IG? I thought we were trying to clear this up now. Now I'm worried because it's like that's the part that people are even throwing here. Which is why we came up with the news headline and thought to clear the air on that. Now, if you want to even criticize the president on this, perhaps you would do it based on the fact that reports have it that Disu was 48 days away from his retirement.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an angle that we can come from. But if it's zoning that you are calling for, because that's what I'm sounding like zoning. Okay, Urbana ban has been there, put a house man there. Has he violated the promotion? What do they call it? Criteria as far as the ranking in the police force? It's not seen that he has done that. So zoning should not be questioning. I think even seeing it in our politics, we've seen how problematic it's become for us. Except he has violated what ought to be in terms of police promotions, then that's not a conversation we should be having. Or am I being extra with that? I don't know. Let's take some more calls. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, my name is David from Federal Zimbabwe.
Good to have you here.
I think this is public discourse. This is public discourse. The way you are talking, I don't give us space to talk. There are people that have been calling several times.
Hello, David. Please go on with your contribution, David. Go on with your contribution, please.
Especially you there. We talk and just relax. Let other people.
All right, let's take some more. Good afternoon. Yes, sir. Welcome.
Somi.
Yes, sir. Lafia, hello.
Sorry, let me apologize. I made a call yesterday and I was being misunderstood. You know?
What's your name, sir?
After Kim. Yeah,
what's your name, sir?
My name is Musa.
Okay, go ahead.
After Kim, some of us listen to this platform because of each time we hear your voice, we listen. You know, because you are not biased in your submission. That's the truth. And God will continue to lift you up. You know, but most people who will come and say, your mandate will stand, leave that one. You see, in respect to this belief thing, go and check both academic and career progression. So far now, in BA is the best. Well, somebody may say, security, this thing, there are certain things you need to check and this thing. You can see some people because they just want to confuse people. They are going there to bring a former president from Muhammad Buhari, this.
All right. Let's take some messages after this call. Good afternoon.
Your Excellency.
Welcome, sir.
I greet you specially. Mazi Destiny Anthony.
Welcome,
Baby, I
Mazi.
greet you, sir.
Welcome, Mazi.
Yes. Number one, so we are talking about the president coming to defend whether he
killed
was
opposition.
trying to turn Nigeria into a one-party state. If Mr. President comes back, so you expect him to say yes, that is what he's doing. Well, as a politician, he's still going to say no, that everybody is free to stay in any. But there are times that you can give a sign to Gabriel. It will speak louder than when you open your mouth and say, Gaby, do this. You understand? So the body language could actually be doing what his mouth is not saying. On the police thing, Auntie Somi, I don't have problem with, even if an Igbo man is not, I'm an Igbo man, but even if you don't elect an Igbo man, appoint an Igbo man as the IG, it is not a problem for you. But see where I have problem with that policing. There was a time under Muhammadu Buhari where commissioner of police from a particular state, commissioners from a particular state that is indigenous, the people who are commissioners that are indigenous, we had up to like almost 8, 9 or 10 from one state in the north. And if you check some places in southern part, some states did not even produce a commissioner.